Because it's absolutely vital. Every second thought should be a facet. Why? Because the facets are based in truth, in perfection. And they start to cut the control of the head. You know, the fear, the judgments, the doubts, the preoccupations. Put the facets. Love creates me in my perfection. Judgment, judgment, judgment. Love creates me in my perfection. This moment in its perfection. The heart talks of perfection. The mind looks for perfection. The illusion of perfection. The unattainable. The heart knows its own divine perfection. It came with that. It is that. I am that. There's nothing other than that. And that's my responsibility. The head, unattainable. Never good enough. Never sufficient. Back here now. Back here now. Love creates me in my perfection. And catch the thoughts of the victim, the thoughts of the judgment, the thoughts of the control, the fear, the anxiety. Stop it. Here now. Here now. So, eyes closed, moving all the old, the emotional stress, all the things that have transpired in our lives that make us suffer. Eyes open, with facets, cutting the mind, the judge, the priest, the school teacher, everything that's telling you you're not good enough. You need to be more. You need to be better. You need to be more masculine, more feminine, more intelligent, more beautiful, more thin, more this, more that, more. So you can be perfect. But you can never be perfect. Only God can be perfect. Huh? Love creates me in my perfection. Love creates me in my perfection. I'm already perfect. I was born this way. Ask Lady Gaga.
No, I feel like I have a lot of fun and flow. But there's one aspect I've been seeing that I really want to mature on. And that's more like when you talked the other day about discipline and being constant and organized. I feel like I have some long-term goals. And when it comes to the daily consistency, it's like I always find resistance. And then I don't see results because I don't accomplish what I have to do day to day. And I see it in a lot of different things that I would like to accomplish. Or I get distracted easily when I'm on a task or have procrastination.
You know, if you want something, obviously you have to move into action. And everything's repetitive. You know, if you really want to be excellent at something, you have to practice, no? You have to put it into action. So you have the idea, and then you need the discipline. But from a place of joy, not rigidity. But choose one thing. You know, a laser can bounce off the moon. One laser. Why? Because it's one direction. It has one direction. So be clear. Don't have 20 projects because clearly you can't manage it. Have one and move into action. Challenge yourself to be more. Because this is a creative part of your life. But be clear. Be clear with you and focus on what you want. You know, lots of people have many talents. But even the most talented people have to polish their creation. Even the greatest singers, they have to learn a system to sustain their voice, to balance their voice. And it takes work. To be excellent at something, the best of you in something, you have to learn. And you have to dedicate time if you want to succeed in what you're doing. And if that's what you want, if you want that experience, you have to be disciplined. But from a place of joy, no? It's not that that achievement's going to make you happier. Your happiness is here now. Like you said, you're already happy. You are happy. Oh, but I don't have any discipline to create. But that's part of being God. You have to be creative. Be an artist. Give your talent. That's part of this experience. So move into action and be clear and use the facets. Here in this moment. Here in this moment. And stop getting distracted. Here in this moment. You know, set a goal each day. Today I do this. And don't stop till you do that. And then the next day, I do this. You know, if you know your limitations, and they make you suffer. It's not that your exigence makes you suffer. You don't even move into action. You're like a feather, like, yeah. Your dispersion makes you suffer. So be clear. Okay, I know I'm dispersed. I know I don't finish anything I start. I know I get distracted. I know I sabotage. So do something different. Okay, now I'm going to focus. Today I achieve this. Tomorrow I achieve this. And I do my best every day. And before you know it, you're on the top of the mountain. You know, if you look at the top of the mountain, it appears unattainable. But if you're looking at each step and enjoying each step, before you know it, you're at the top of the mountain. No? Así es la vida. Such is life. And it's great to do things. You know, it's great to reinvent yourself, to be creative, to achieve. Don't steal that from yourself. Because you already have happiness. You have the consciousness. Now put it into action. You know? Yeah?
My question is, how can I know that I heal something? Because it happens that there is an issue, that is my ex. That if I start thinking in him and start remembering things, there is still sadness. But I don't know if that is because I'm feeding the drama, or if I still have to heal something.
What do you think? Oh, bullshit. You know exactly. You're feeding the story. The pobrecito Joe. It's gone. If it comes up by itself, without the story, no. But if it just because you think about it and it comes, you're creating that. You're creating that. You know, when I used to first start moving emotion, it was really difficult for me to connect, no? So I'd think one of my romantic dramas, because I had a lot of them, no? I was very romantic. And I'd think, and then I'd start crying and crying and crying. And then I'd stop thinking about it because I'd connected. But I could cry on cue. And you've got to catch that. There's one thing about healing, because emotions are very real. They create our human experience. The things that happen to us are recorded within the emotion and the emotions in our bodies. They're absolutely real. They're not fictitious. They're our truth. But if you're recreating an emotion through the story, after that missing, you know that it's not coming from there. You're provoking it. Yeah? All of that's to do with you. Separation from yourself. It just has his name on it. Because in this moment, you should be in joy. If you're thinking about him, missing him, getting into the drama, why didn't it work? Oh, it used to be so good. All pass, and it provokes emotion. It's drama. This is sure.
I have been super happy the last days. And since a couple of days I understood, I felt what you say about the giving. I felt it. I felt that energy. But then it came a thought that is not real. Cannot be so good. You cannot be so happy. And I see it and I cut it with the facets. But my question is, why the head doesn't allow us to be happy? Where does it come, that voice from? Cannot be so happy.
That's the dictator in your head. That's the dictator that controls all of humanity. That place where we don't deserve. And there's an easy way to catch it. All you have to do is this. Think, would a child think that? No. A child wouldn't think that. And let it go. Because that dictator in your head is in everyone's head. And in everyone's head, it tells them they're not good enough. Because from this age, we were told why we needed to change. Because we weren't good enough. There was something wrong. And it's collective, that voice. The voice of suffering. We all suffer together. And the most suspicious we become when we become our true nature. We think fear's real. We don't think love's real. We think judgment's real. We don't think silence is real. We think there's something terribly wrong. We can't perceive that we are the product of perfection. The facets of the absolute truth of God. And God's everything. God is that unconditional love. You are that unconditional love. You are the facets, but you don't believe them. That's why you introduce them mechanically. until they become your experience. I am the facets, and you will become the facets, because you are the other facets at the moment. The facets of knowledge. And most of it is based in lies. Collective lies that we all believe. I'm not good enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not intelligent enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not thin enough. My tits aren't big enough. My penis isn't long enough. We believe all these things. All of them. But are they true? No. I use extreme examples because that's what people think about, especially men.
My question is wrong the fact to think, for example, to drink some beers in the beach and listen to music and think facets, having a good time?
Sure.
Claro.
Yeah. You can do whatever you want. Just don't suffer. If you think that's going to replace unification with your eyes closed, no. Sure. Use the facets all the time. When you're doing anything, just be in the moment with the facets. You're thinking anyway. And the beautiful thing is, you'll start to cultivate bigger gaps until you start to experience silence. Instead of that constant... It's so constant we don't even notice it. But sometimes it becomes ferocious, no? And it's like... It's hard. Yes, that's why people drink. It stops this. I used to drink for that reason. So I wouldn't be insecure. So I could be entertaining. Because I had this voice telling me I wasn't good enough. Use the facets.
Since I arrived, I tried to take distance. It was my personal decision of not getting into my networks. I feel that it contaminates me somehow and it conditions me. And I want to know what you think about this constant selling of personal life in the networks. And many times can be real or not. And I found many times cutting myself, repressing myself in certain things of not publishing something in the networks. Because the judgment, I have that many times, is not real, that people is not that happy as they show.
You know, I always laugh when people say, "Did you see her photos? She must be happy." Who doesn't smile when you take a photo? We're trained to do that. You could be in the deepest depression of your life and someone says, "Photo," and you go... It's all based in image. You know, angles, image, Photoshop, blah, 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 blah. Apparently. I don't even look at it. But it can also be a great tool. You know, my people use it as a tool. They use it to get consciousness out. They use it so people will come here. You know, it's like anything. It can have a positive effect, but when you become addicted and obsessed, It takes you out of yourself. So it's not that it's bad. Don't make things bad. You know, personally, I don't look because I'm not interested. It doesn't interest me what other people are doing. I have no interest.
Usually, you tell that in your own process, you took distance from everything on many material things.
We didn't have social nets back then.
That's why I'm asking about the process of the ones that we're starting in the first steps. I understand networks are not bad. Maybe you look specifically who want to go deeper with their spiritual development.
I can answer this. You know what's really important is what you're consuming. That passion to grow also needs to be fed. You need to read consciousness, listen to consciousness, talk to people in consciousness, not to question, but just to be open, because the heart resonates with consciousness. You know, it was an interesting thing for me, because when I started expanding my consciousness, I was singing, and I was writing songs, and I listened to music all day, no? It inspired me, and doing videos and all that stuff that I did. And when I started to experience consciousness and be in the present moment, I didn't want to listen to music. I found a music inside of me that was so beautiful. Any external noise was not serving. And I wanted to be with people that were focused on consciousness. I wanted to be in nature, but in silence. I was so in the present moment. And I was enjoying it so much. Because I always lived in these amazing places. In Australia, you know, on the beach. Always on the beach. But I'd never experienced it. Because I was in my head all the time. And I know in the movie I talk about it. But when I first heard the sound of the waves, I was shocked that I hadn't heard them, but deeply. Maybe I'd heard them, but it was like anything else. Oh, beautiful view, beautiful that, da da da. Oh, sound of the waves. Everything was so superficial. And I wasn't a superficial person. I was a deep person, you know. I was pretty tortured. I was an artist. But I really started to hear the music of life. And then everything became about that. Expanding my consciousness, going in, letting go, listening to that voice. And it's so important what you consume. You know, I'm not talking about what you eat. I'm talking about what you take in. And another thing I noticed is that as I expand consciousness, anyway, and whatever I took in, I started to let go of all my addictions because the consciousness became more important. I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, I stopped everything that was affecting that experience. But not because I thought I had to, or I was told I had to. I just did it naturally. You know, and this is the process of expansion of consciousness. It's natural. This system's natural. I don't even know if you've noticed, but I have not given you one rule. I don't say you can't eat this and you can't do that and you can't feel that and no, I don't tell you anything. All I tell you to do is go in, go in, go in, go in. Let go, let go, let go, let go. Transform. So you know, you're an intelligent person. You know when you're getting distracted. And you know when you're choosing something that's good for you, that's loving you. You know that. One of the first things you start doing with consciousness is you stop lying to yourself. Because we've got a billion excuses not to be loving with ourselves. We only need one to be loving. And that's love.
Come visit our webpage for books, movies, and our wonderful retreat centers. Isha's simple yet powerful system is transforming lives around the world.